In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Do you ever wonder what is the point of it all? That is, the point of life? Is there a purpose for life for all of us? Is there meaning? Does it make any sense at all? I hope you have been courageous enough and honest enough with yourself to know that those are good questions and valid questions and do not suggest a lack of faith at all. I have wrestled with those questions basically all of my life. And since I was ordained when I was 25, most of my life means since I've been ordained. I have wondered, is God real? Is there really any point to all this? What are we doing? Is it just a charade? What is going on? And some of you are thinking, and I've heard people respond to me by saying, but you're a priest. How could you devote your life to something without being certain it was true? And I have several answers to that, but my main answer is, how in the world could you marry anybody and take life vows to somebody without being completely certain that they were the right person for you? Of course, we don't have that luxury. We never know that about a person we're going to marry, about God, about a vocation, or about anything else. Because faith is not about certainty. It doesn't make everything absolutely clear where there can be no question at all. There are always questions. There's always room for doubt. And doubt is one of the principal things we have going for us to enable us to grow in faith and grow in understanding as well. I committed my life to serving God because I couldn't think of anything else to do. I had tried a few other things. I had tried being a country singer. I know. But I was serious about that. But singing to people in smoke-filled rooms who are drunk with their heads on the table didn't sound like the way I wanted to spend the rest of my life. And I thought I wanted to be a rancher till I found out you have to be rich to be a rancher to start with. And that starting off to be a rancher by being a cowboy, which I was for a while, is never going to get you to be a rancher. It's labor. It's common labor. And all the romance and wonder of being a cowboy evaporated from my life at a fairly early age. I became interested in Scripture and in God when I came to faith as a 16-year-old. Now, I've been an Episcopalian since I was at least 9, but I came to faith as a 16-year-old. And that was about the time in life when it was like, what are you going to do when you get out of high school? Well, I sort of tried to avoid getting out of high school and didn't graduate with my class. But eventually, I had to think of something. What am I going to do next? And my girlfriend, who became my first wife, said, well, the thing you seem to be interested in is religion. Maybe you should be a minister. And I wanted to say, shut your mouth. Because I knew I wasn't competent or capable. I was not a good student. I was afraid of people. I hated to speak publicly. I never had spoken publicly. I managed to avoid it. And so the whole idea of my being ordained was one of the most absurd things I could think of. But as time went on, I couldn't think of anything else. And so I played a few tricks with God in terms of, if you're calling me to be ordained, show me a sign. And then he showed me a falling star immediately. And stuff like that, cheap tricks like that, where I would, ask God, this doesn't make any sense. So show me it's not right, or show me something. And God kept giving me signs that said, keep on coming. So I decided to go off to college and study to be a priest, thinking, certainly God's going to stop this farce at some point. And my attitude towards God and my prayer to God was, Lord, you know this doesn't make any sense. I know this doesn't make any sense. but I don't know what else to do, so stop me when it gets too crazy. And so I went through college, I went through seminary, and lo and behold, I was being ordained. I was still wondering when God was going to stop this, because it didn't make any sense to me. And 57 years later, here I am, still doing it, and convinced it's the best thing I ever could have done or thought to do. Faith is not about certainty, it's a gamble. We trust God, and we go the way we think God may be calling us to go, and we find out as we go what it's going to be about and whether it's right for us or whether it's not. That includes vocation to ordination, includes marriage, it includes everything you can think of that involves a commitment. We can't figure it all out ahead of time. We don't have all the answers neatly in hand where it's all clear to us. We simply go off in the direction we think we ought to be going and hope that God will show us that that is the right direction or is not, and will discourage us. There is a Hebrew word that's used a lot in the Bible called hebel, Hebel. It means a puff of wind. And it's used particularly in the book of Ecclesiastes, and unfortunately translated as vanity. Well, vanity for us is something negative and sinful. Hebel doesn't mean anything sinful at all. It means a puff of wind, something here and then gone, temporary. And the view of the author of that book, and that shows up in many other books, especially in the Psalms, is that all of human life is like a puff of wind. We're here, and then we're gone. And that applies not only to our life in this planet, but to everything we are involved in this life. We have a career, okay, we have it for a while, but it's temporary, and then it's gone. We have whatever we have for now. Everything in this life is for now. When you get right down to it, it's like a puff of wind. And finally, there's death, which can seem to wreck all of our plans, all of our dreams, all of our ambitions of any sort whatsoever, and give us the sense that life, after all, really is meaningless. As the dean suggested, I'm going to tell you that I don't think life has a purpose, but I think it has meaning. And for me, meaning and purpose are very, very different things. But I think our meaning is not easily come by, and that we have to struggle about it and ask questions about it. And the whole point of the Explore God series that we're starting this week is about questioning and continuing to question, having the nerve and having the faith to question everything, to question God. That's not a lack or sign of something lacking in us. It means we have faith and we have courage and we're pursuing something. And we're going to ask all the tough questions that come up about it in the process of pursuing it. One of the difficulties in life today, especially for people, say, under 50 years of age, is that when they think about the meaning of their lives and what they're going to do with their lives, how they will sort of bet their lives on something or other, there are so many options, so many possibilities, and so much information. There's a part of me that's very glad that when I was making those kinds of decisions, there didn't seem to be as many options. Cowboy, country singer, priest, But I'm sympathetic with those who are younger and face so many different kinds of options. There's another Hebrew word that's used in the Bible a number of times. It's the word nepish, Nepish. And it comes up in the 2nd chapter of Genesis, where it says that God took the clay, dirt, slime, it doesn't matter, took earth stuff, and formed it, breathed the breath of his life, his spirit into it, and it became nepish. Our translations, which are accurate, say a living being. Hebrew is a very concrete, down-to-earth language. What is a living being? A living being is something that eats, something that swallows. And that's what nepish means, something that swallows. So God made us to be hungry. God made us to eat and take into ourselves the world he has created. The question that is pursued in the rest of the 2nd and 3rd chapters of Genesis is, what in the world is this creature hungry for? And we know that Adam and Eve were hungry for things like being in charge themselves that didn't work, and that turned out to be great mistakes. And we are still floundering around in one level or another, trying to figure out what we're hungry for and what we really, really want. And is there anything that can satisfy our wants and our desires? I'm reminded of a very old now country song about seeking love in all the wrong places, seeking love in too many faces, seeking love. Where can we be satisfied? Well, our immediate sense as young people growing up is that if we just get enough stuff, that will satisfy us, and our hunger will be satisfied, and we will be content. One of the best things that can happen to anybody is that by age 30 or 35, they become millionaires. That is, early on, you have enough money to get all the stuff you want. And the thing is that we all know is that no matter what you want and what you get, doesn't stop your wanting, doesn't stop the hunger. We still want something more. If I just had that job, or if my income ever got above $300,000 a year, or if I had that woman, or on and on and on. And if we're lucky enough to get it, doesn't stop it. We still want something else, something more. We are insatiable in our hunger. And nothing that we can find in the world satisfies us. We always want something more. Thoreau said that most people live lives of quiet desperation because they try to avoid disappointment and disillusionment by shutting down that desire for more and just settling for things as they are, but they are feeling desperate because the hunger is still there. It doesn't go away. What the Bible teaches us is that our insatiable desire is for an infinite God, and that only God will do. It's not that everything else is bad or evil or sinful at all. The perspective of Catholic Christianity that we have inherited is that God made the whole world full of good and wonderful and beautiful things as gifts for us, and made us hungry for good food and good music and sunsets and sex and on and on and on. These are not bad things, these are good things. They are gifts from God. And when we receive them as gifts from God and say, oh, thank you, God, for this hot fudge sundae, as I say at least once a year, they become communion with God. Whatever we receive as gift from God and give thanks for connects us to God in a relationship of gift and receiving and thanksgiving, or Eucharist. Eucharist is the key to communion because it's from our gratitude, our thanksgiving for the gifts of God that we are able to have communion with God. There's an old saying that life is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be celebrated. Now, in our society, almost all of us have been trained and educated to solve problems. That's what our society is good at, and we are very good at solving problems. But when it comes to life as a whole and the meaning of life and God, that's not a problem we can solve. It's not a problem at all. It's a mystery that we can both grasp to some extent, and it's beyond us to some extent as well. And so, do we accept life as a mystery that is God's gift to us, to celebrate it and make the most of it? Or do we try to figure it out one way or another so that when we make decisions, we are sure about our decisions and we're sure of the results? One of the laws of life that befuddles us, and always has and probably always will, is the law of unintended consequences. That we make decisions and we think we know what the result is going to be, and then surprise, surprise, the result is something else and something different. Life is not a problem we can solve. It is a very deep and wonderful and beautiful mystery for us to celebrate. And the meaning of life is God's gift to us, and it is God himself. So my concern about life having a purpose is not in the words themselves, but too easily purpose comes down to something utilitarian. That is, I have a purpose. God has created a purpose for me. It's like a blueprint. God knows exactly what I should do, where I should go, and all about that. And if somehow or other I miss that or stray away from that, I'm in big trouble with God. I don't believe that at all. I don't think the Bible teaches that either. And certainly it is unreasonable to think that way. God has a meaning for our lives, but God does not have a narrow purpose, because that tends to say that we are simply functions in life, and that God values us because of what we can accomplish, for our productivity, for our usefulness to ourselves, others, our company, or whatever. And what the church has been saying for 2,000 years, and Judaism before that, is that we're not primarily functionaries who were created to be useful. We're created to be ourselves and to live into the wonderful mystery that is you and the wonderful mystery that is me. Doesn't mean we can't be useful also, but usefulness doesn't sum up all that we are about. So that when we get older and we don't feel like we're useful anymore, we still have a meaning in life because we're still who we are. And God values us simply because we are, because we exist. And living into that is what we're all about and is the meaning of our lives. Only God will do, finally, only God will do to satisfy our hunger. Nothing else will. But having faith in God is not instant gratification. It's not something where if you trust God, then everything falls into place, everything becomes clear, and you don't have any issues or problems anymore. It's all easy. Alan Jones, the retired dean of Grace Cathedral in San Francisco and an author, said, "When I was 9 years old, I gave my heart to Jesus, and it's been terrible ever since." And what Alan was saying was that faith does not make life easier. It makes it harder. It's complex. Faith is hard work. It's trusting and continuing to trust and continuing to trust, even when there doesn't seem to be a reason to trust, or when it's very, very difficult or very, very costly. And so we don't look to faith for instant gratification. It doesn't make everything all right, but it sets us on a path. It means we've placed our money on a number. We've made our bet, and we're pursuing that because we trust God and trust that we have responded to God's call to us to live a meaningful life in the ways in which God is calling us to do that. We are always falling short. Nobody can ever say, I have faith and now I am whole and complete and satisfied, because we're still on the way. We're still in process. We don't ever arrive, especially in this life. We don't arrive. We're on the way to something. And so in the process, on the way, we fall short. In a few minutes, we're going to say the general confession, and we're going to confess that we don't love God with all our hearts, minds, and souls the way we're supposed to. We don't love our neighbors as ourselves. We've overlooked all kinds of opportunities to do good and to live into the meaning of our lives in the world. And God forgives us, and we keep on and strive some more, trust some more, and follow God some more. The Christian gospel is that God has not waited for us to find God. Thanks be to God. God has acted to be one of us in Jesus and to bring God's meaning and God's life and God's love into our lives in a very intimate and personal way. The Christian gospel's key to the meaning of human life is it's based upon the fact that God is love. And our lives will have meaning to the extent to which we live into God, into God's love, and learn to love from God. That is, the meaning of life, according to the gospel, is to be Christ-like. It's to be Jesus. And fortunately, we eat and drink him, and he comes to live in us so that we can be transformed into holy people, Christ-like people. That's what our lives mean. That's the point of it all. That's why we get up and keep on going. I have been pursuing this meaning all of my life, and I still am, but it's never a possession. It's always a gift that is working and doing something, transforming me as we go. The meaning of what I have chosen to pursue is that I am still pursuing it and trying to be Christ-like and trying to live into my vocation from God. But I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't arrived. I haven't found it. I'm still in process. And so I trust that tomorrow or next week, God is not going to say, okay, it's time for this farce to be over. I've let you be a priest long enough. Now you go be a country singer or something. God has been very patient with me and led me along, and I still get to pursue what I think is the meaning of my life. I encourage you not to accept anything I say as the answer. The whole Explore God series is about having the courage to ask the questions. And one of the things I've learned the hard way in life is that the best answers we ever get raise even better questions. So keep questioning. Keep getting answers that are better and better, and they will raise even better questions, and you will be on the way to the meaning of your life as a gift from God. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.